Hey everyone, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do the Goodreads Book Tag. And I think this will be a really fun one to do because it'll give you an idea of kind of what I like and get to know me through the things I put on Goodreads. So without further ado, here we go. Question 1. What is the last book you marked as read? The last book I marked as read was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, but if we're not talking about books I've reread, then the last book I marked as read was Nicholas and Alexandra by Robert K. Massey. Question 2. What are you currently reading? I'm currently reading 2 books. The first one is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. As I said, I'm rereading the entire Harry Potter series. And second, I'm reading The Wise Man's Fear, which is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. Number 3. What was the last book you marked as TBR? The last book I put on my TBR shelf is The Night Ship to China, but in reality I added the entire History Keepers series to my TBR. Number 4. What book do you plan to read next? Once I'm finished rereading Harry Potter and reading Wise Man's Fear, I'm probably going to read No Regard for Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. Number 5. Do you use the star rating system? I absolutely do use the star rating system. I find it very useful and very helpful to keep track of things, how I liked a book, how I felt about the book. It also helps, me with my organization. So yeah, I think that the star rating system is a really great thing. Number 6. Are you doing a 2017 reading challenge? I am doing a 2017 reading challenge. I've finished with it, but I like to go beyond and see how far I can go in a year. So we'll see where I am by the end of the year. Number 7. Do you have a wish list? I do have a wish list, but it's not a physical wish list. It's just books that I know I'm really going to like, and so I will buy them. But I don't have a physical wish list. But if any of you guys are curious to know what my wish list is, comment below and I will. Number 8. What book do you plan to buy next? I don't buy many books, but the next book I would probably end up buying is Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb, because even though I'm nowhere near being close to being able to read that book because I'm not finished with her other series, I know I'm going to love it, so I'll probably buy that. But other than that, I probably won't buy another book until late 2018 when another author that I really enjoy, Charlotte Ashe, comes out with the third book in her Heart of All Worlds trilogy, which is called The Sixth Anchor. Number 9. Do you have any favorite quotes, and would you like to share a few? I have several quotes that I like, which are in here. Because all of these are, quotes from books or movies or TV series or just inspirational people. Anyway, but for brevity's sake, I will find one quote that really speaks to me, and this quote is from The Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. History is no more fixed and dead than the future. The past is no further away than the last breath you took. Number 10. Who are your favorite authors? I have a few favorite authors, and so J.K. Rowling, of course, I love her, J.R.R. Tolkien, and Robin Hobb. Those are probably my top 3 authors at the moment. Number 11. Have you joined any groups? I have not joined any groups. I've been on Goodreads for quite a while, and I've never really thought to go searching for any. So I'm open to any suggestions if any of you guys want to put some suggestions down for groups, and I'll gladly check them out and let you know if I join any. And finally, number 12. Are there any questions you'd like to add? There aren't really any questions I'd like to add, but one thing that I might find a little bit useful, or you might find a little bit useful, is for me to walk you through my Goodreads page and the way I rate things. I have my read, currently reading, and to read book shelves, and those are all just like the normal ones that come with your page as you go. And then I also have my starring shelves, so stars 1 through 5, and that's pretty self-explanatory as well. I also tend to break several of my shelves down into the genres that I read the most. So for instance, I have a children's lit shelf and a classics shelf, which is like, the classics canon, not classics like Latin and Greek. And then I have some comics, not very many, but I have a few of those. And I have a few dystopian, a fantasy shelf, historical fiction shelf, just a plain old straight up history shelf, a law shelf, mystery and thriller. I lump those together because the books I tend to read fall into both of those categories, so I just combine them. And then I have sci-fi shelf. Those are the genres that I, as I said, read the most. Then I also break things down into the books that I need, so the books that I think look really cool and that I absolutely want to buy and want to have. But then I also have the to borrow book shelf, which are the ones that I want to read but I don't want to buy. So I'll just probably go to the library or ask a friend if I can borrow them. And then I also have the don't want or need shelf, which contains books I've already read and I don't have them and I don't really want them. It's just I've read them and I don't need to have them in my possession. And then I also have, 2 shelves for books that I have, and then I also have, or that I own, and then books that I have in physical form and books that I have in ebook form. So I have all that. And then finally, something that you need to understand is my to read shelf encompasses all the books I want to read. So I want you to think of a giant tree trunk. The foundation for my to read shelf is the trunk of this tree. And if you're to go up higher, when you get towards the skinnier part of the tree, you have the to read light shelf, which is just basically the first book in each series that I want to read, or by so it just narrows it. It's not every single book that I want to read. And then finally, when you get to 3 branches. So you have my priority to read, which contains the books that I must read as soon as possible. Either they sound really awesome, or friends have recommended them, or I just have to read those. So it's my priority to read. Then I have a secondary to read, which are the books that I'm like, I'm really interested in these and I want to read them very soon. So it's like kind of a middle section. It's like I want to read these, but at the same time I have more books that I want to read before I read these. And finally, I have my tertiary to read list, which is a book list for books that I want to read at some point. I know I won't get to them for now, or I'm just really not interested in reading them right now. They're just something that I will go to down the line if I am in really need of a book or a break from the books that I really, really want to read. So that breaks down that. And then finally, I have my rating system. Take 5 things in consideration when I choose my ratings. 1, how emotionally affected I am. 2, how easily difficult it is to put down and walk away. 3, how much I enjoyed the plot. 4, how much it impacted my life overall, and 5, the overall quality. And when you go through stars 1 through 5, you can determine pretty quickly, pretty easily, what each of those categories would be. 1 being, you know, I really wasn't impacted or affected by this in any way or very much, to 5 where I was, you know, emotional impact is 11, and I am in love with this book, it's everything to me kind of thing. So that gives you a brief overview of, you know, my Goodreads life, and that's generally what I've got for you today. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or follow me on any of the social media accounts that I've linked below in the description box, and I will be back soon with another video. Okay, bye!